Hello, bright and shiny beacons of life. Welcome to our Ask Michael Anything YouTube live event. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation, with tonight's YouTube live on how to stay centered for the holidays. Not sure if you can hear Love Bug in the background there. We've got Love Bug in the house. We've got Lumi off to the side someplace, and somewhere around here, Sir Meowsers. And I'm so excited you can join me here this evening. This may be the last Ask Michael Anything, not the last one ever, but the last one for a while that Jessica is not really joining me. She's joining me kind of virtually here this evening. She is beautifully exhausted and toasted. For those who don't know, that's my wife and the producer of the show. She just came back from a 10-day trip to Cancun. Sounds very exotic. But it was actually a journey for a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat, which she's going to be teaching me all about how to do these amazing meditations. But if I get this right, if I understand from her chats with me, this weekend alone, she was getting up at 2:45 in the morning and then getting to bed for the next day's meditation after 10. So she is a little bit toast this morning. That actually kind of does lead into today's topic, though. I'm noticing I'm a little bit off center. So that, I'm not sure why I'm off center. Open this window. So I'm not actually off center. Very good. So I want to talk with you tonight about getting centered for the holidays. With that said, let's see if we have any, a couple things, couple quick notes. First off, we could use your support, your love and support. It is your donations that keep us going. So if you're looking for somebody to help during the holidays, feel free to donate to the Inspire Nation show. You can become a Backstage Pass member. Come on over to patreon.com, patreon.com / Inspire Nation. Become a member of the Inspire Nation family. Get your Backstage Pass, lots of freebies, fun information. Lately, it's been a lot of blog posts as well as we get that ramped back up during this holiday time of year. And we're going to be having group coaching for the new year, which may already be like almost full. Our waiting list is actually over full at the moment. But if you want to get in on group coaching, which is going to be like one-on-one coaching, but really at a fraction of the price, we're going to have a nice tight-knit group together for about 10-week program. You can come on over to inspirenationshow.com, and I believe there's a green button right up at the top, which will take you over to group coaching. We'll also have our automatic writing program coming back out in January. We'll tell you more about that in weeks to come. So with that said, let's dive in. And I see the Love Bug has been making some cameo appearances from the side. Very, very excited about that. For those of you who are following, now we'll save the mice for later. If you've been following on the CJ Lou show, we have important mousy updates. All right, so let's talk about getting centered this time of year. So it's something that I've been thinking about a lot right now because Jessica was away the last 10 days. It's really a joint effort to keep things going. And not only was I finding that I had to juggle a lot of competing demands, but people are a little bit edgy this time of year. Lines are long. Drivers are a little bit or a lot of it nuts on the road. And it seems like it takes extra time to do things. I know I've had coaching clients who have disappeared, gotten confused, not been sure which day it was, and a whole plethora of other things, as it seems like, here's a good way to put it. I had a potential guest was pitched a few days ago saying, is the collective consciousness as described by Carl Jung real? And of course it's real. What does it mean, collective consciousness? It means we are swimming in a soup of energy from those around us. What does that mean? Well, if you're in a room and things are going great and all of a sudden somebody comes in and you're like feeling off, you're feeling icky, you're feeling wrong, you don't even know anything about them. They may be bringing, as one guest called it today, a contagion, an energy with them that feels off. Monday morning, you can be as centered as you like. But if you live near a big city, a big metropolis, you can feel completely spun and off. We are all affected and infected by the energy of everybody around us. It's why I've heard stories of great Hollywood stars. I'm talking really kind, open-hearted ones who come into a room and own that room. The whole place goes hush. Everybody feels good. They're not sure why. That's the positive power of energy. Right now, we're all feeding. This is even if we don't watch the news, the hype, what's going on with the world, what's going on with politics, what's going on with the dollar, what's going on with the weather. Even if we're not following all of this, we are spun by the collective energy that we're in right now. Add on top of that, you've got X number of days to Christmas. You've got this number of days for this sale. You've just missed that sale. You've got to get this thing here before they run out. You got to take care of this. You got to bring this person there. You got to organize this. Have you sent out that? And it's not just you. Even if you had nothing to do with this, if you said, I'm not into Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or any of the events going on right now, if you said, I am just a hermit, you still feel spun. I've done a really good job, relatively speaking, of staying centered. I tried to get a lot done before Jessica came back here. I'm not sure if the Christmas tree, this is my first ever Christmas tree. Oh, it's actually there. I got this tree, Christmas tree, eco Christmas tree, guaranteed for 30 years, made with 100% recycled materials, gives 1% to the 1% for the planet. And I had to run around and be in this energy to get these things done, just like anybody else. And this evening was getting ready for this YouTube video. And I was thinking about, we want to be centered for the holidays. I stubbed a toe and had to tape it up because it was starting to bleed all over the place. What does that mean? We all get to slow down right now, myself as much as anybody else, to be more present, more centered in our bodies. What does it mean to be centered? We live in a society, really almost a world today, that espouses being out of our bodies. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean, what do we call it, for traveling outside of our bodies. What it means is everything is competing for your consciousness, for your awareness. The TV is trying to grab you away. The phone is trying to grab you away. All of your electronics, every bell, whistle, buzz is trying to take your attention outside of yourself. And with so many competing demands, unless you are literally sitting on your stool, and this is a mindfulness exercise, you can do this in the moment. You can sit here and squirm your butt on your chair and say, am I present? Do I feel my derriere on the stool, on the chair? Do I feel my feet on the floor? Do I feel my hands in my lap or on the desk? I take a nice deep breath. Do I feel the air coming into the lungs? Oh, I put my hand on my chest. Do I feel that too? Do I feel the air going back out of my lungs? Unless we take a moment to put ourselves back, literally, just what we did right here. This is a beautiful mindfulness exercise. To put yourself literally back in your body. If not, you will feel spun. So one way that we can fix that is mindfulness, getting ourselves back in the body, getting ourselves back in the present moment, becoming an observer of yourself. We talked about this before, about becoming an observer. One of the easiest ways that you can become an observer, what's an observer? The observer is the you who's watching you. It's the you who's giving commentary. It's the you who says, Michael is having a bad day, or Sarah is having a bad day, or Jessica feels exhausted. The one who is watching that, that's your infinite observer. That's the part of you that is connected. Well, we're all connected to spirit. We couldn't be disconnected even if we try. But it's the you that really is the infinite observer. That is the infinite part of yourself. An easy, simple way to tap into this is to literally have a running commentary of yourself. And please, if you do what you can. I wish I had my little turtle mascot with me here. He's hiding on my desk in the studio. Do what you can to slow down the commentary. Michael is sitting here holding an Ask Michael Anything. Jessica is here running a chat on the chat box. You are watching a video or watching me right now. The more that you can say, I'm going to do it for myself. Michael is sitting here. Michael is speaking more slowly. Michael is stepping back and going, wow, he's staying nice and relaxed during this event. Michael is actually really proud of himself. It sounds really silly on the surface, but the more that you can have a running commentary, Michael loves himself. Love yourself up like there's no tomorrow. The more that you can have a running commentary on yourself, the more you step out of the busyness and the craziness, and you step back from participating it to watching it. When you start watching your life, funny things happen. First off, you can make big changes. You can move pawn pieces around in ways that you never thought of before. You're stepping outside of your paradigm. But maybe the biggest thing is you start to let go of the attachment. We live in a sticky super glue Velcro world where we are attached to outcomes. I need to be here then. I need to get this done. I need to buy this. I need to speak to this person. I need to. Maybe our needs and names get to be Anita. But we're stuck in this sticky super glue Velcro world where we're attached to the outcome of everything. And attachment, just like they say in Buddhism, attachment really is the number one cause of suffering. If we weren't attached to outcomes, it would be, I didn't make it there in time. I didn't get that project done. I went shopping and the last XYZ mocha latte gifto, wifto, Winnie the Pooh ornament, whatever sold in front of me. Even I'm feeling sick and I can't come into work today. Without attachment, there is no suffering. So when we're in that third person observer role, we can see what we're attached to and step back from it. So Jessica and I went snowshoeing earlier today. What was my attachment? I want to run to the hill, at the top of the hill, as fast as I possibly can, and just tongue hanging out, sweating all over the place, having a ball. And then, if my legs will let me, because they're exhausted from Saturday, run down the hill with what little I have left. It was Jessica's first time on her new snowshoes. They didn't set up very well. She had some difficulties with her equipment. Everything took longer than expected. We both got a little bit cold. I was dressed for a run. Instead, we're doing a slow hike. Old school Michael would have melted down on the hills. And it would have been such a miserable experience that Jessica never, ever, ever, ever would have wanted to go snowshoeing with me again. Instead, and I don't claim to be perfect in this, but instead I said, it's up to you. We'll go as far as you want. When you want to turn, we turn. It doesn't matter how fast we go. You go at the pace you want to go. You lead. You turn when you want. You go at the pace that you want. You stop as often as you want. And I was getting really cold. My toes took a good hour to actually come back out of numbness. And I was kind of freezing and shivering up on the hill. But I let go of the attachment to need to be a certain place, to get a certain workout in, to do anything of the sort. And you know what? I was brutally cold. But I was actually warm on the inside because I let go of the need for anything. If I had an attachment, the attachment was, how can I make this either more positive of an experience for Jessica or a little bit less miserable, as her feet aren't fitting into her snowshoes right. She can't get these things, the heels kicking into the side, the heels slipping out. Her pants are binding on her other pants. How can I make this less of a miserable experience? So I stepped out of my little self, of my need to be comfortable. Yes, I thought of her first, and that's something you can definitely do, especially this time of year. How much can you send love to somebody else? But I really detached from the situation. A note on taking care of others this time of the year. I do believe sending love is probably the most powerful way that we can stay centered this time of year, but not burning ourselves out. I am such a strong believer of put the oxygen mask on yourself first. What does this mean? Well, this time of year, we're carpooling, we're trying to get people here, we're trying to get people there. We have competing obligations. How am I going to get to this event and to that event at the same time? I promised my family that I would be here, but then I'm going to disappoint. There's no pause, breathe deep. At the end of the day, the only person you're required to please, and this is the opposite of probably everything you've been taught in Western society, the only person you are required to please is you. You can't give anybody anything that you don't have for yourself. If there's nothing in the bank, you have nothing to give. So if you want to stay centered, we've got to ask yourself, what more can I do for myself this time of year? Now, there's an irony here. So I was thinking about Hanukkah lights and Christmas lights earlier today. And I've heard many a great rabbi talk about how Hanukkah is basically 8 days of lighting candles to commemorate a time of darkness when there was barely enough oil left. And I guess the original temple in Jerusalem, in Israel, barely enough light left at the darkest time of year, or barely enough oil left for a candle to burn for one night. Instead, during the darkest time of year, the candle or this oil burned for 8 days and 8 nights straight. Kind of God, if you want to say, lighting up the darkness, illuminating the darkness this time of year. That's what Hanukkah candles represent. That may be in some small or large part what all the Christmas lights have to do with as well. We are illuminating the darkness at the darkest time of year. December 20th, no coincidence, just before Christmas is solstice. Literally the darkest, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, the darkest day of the year. What does that have to do with taking care of ourselves? It's really a time to go inwards. At a time that we're being pressured to go out, to buy, to do this event, to participate in this, to hold this party, to do all these things that pull ourselves away from ourselves. It's really a time to dive in on the inside. Meditation, automatic writing, going to the breath, taking short, quiet walks, or simply being with yourself on the couch without all the electronics blaring and taking stock of your life, either just by going silent, soaking it all in, or doing some sort of, which Jessica's going to teach me more about, a Joe Dispenza meditation where we focus on how we can move energy, how we can truly evolve. Or taking inventory both of the year that's gone by and where you want to go for the year ahead. To me, that is the most important thing you can do during the window between Thanksgiving and New Year's, is to step back and say, wow, what's 2018 been like? How do I want 2019 to go? I'm not a believer in New Year's resolutions. I think the very nature of them, majority of them, are doomed to failure because they're like these Hail Mary passes at the last second. Well, for next year, coming January 1st, I'm going to make this massive effort and get myself in shape. There was a reason it didn't work in 2018. There needs to be systems put in place. You get to step back and look big picture at your life and ask yourself if things are in alignment. That's what you get to do in the darkness. If it wasn't dark, you'd be outside playing all the time, one way or the other. The darkness requires us to go on the inside, literally indoors, particularly if it's cold out, but metaphorically as well. And that is perhaps one of the greatest things you can do to stay centered for the holidays, is to dive into yourself. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Am I feeling nervous? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling confident? Where is that feeling in my body? Is it my solar plexus? Is it my chest? Is it my back? Your body has so much to tell you. Is it your knees? For instance, soreness in the knees means you're unable to step forward. Soreness in the back means that you're not feeling supported. So find where those aches and pains are and actually focus on them. You can even put your hand on them and say, body, what are you here to teach me? And what can you teach me for this time of year, for this year ahead? Remember, there is no pleasing everyone. I say insanity is trying to please two or more taskmasters. We've all had this situation where we wanted to go one place and we felt obligated to go another, and we tore ourselves apart because we couldn't please both people. Heck, it's hard enough just to please ourselves. That's insanity when we try to please everyone. Instead, step back and say, how can I please myself first? It's a beautiful book by, I was going to say it's Ajit Nawalkar. Actually, I'm not sure. I can't recall the author's name at the moment. Beautiful book called Not Nice, which talks about the more open-hearted you are, the harder it is to please yourself and the more you want to please others. Instead, we get to look at how we can step back and take care of ourselves first. I think there's nothing more important than that this time of year. They're saying it's the time of year of giving. It's the time of year of doing for others. It's the time of year first for healing yourself and centering yourself. Meditate this time of year. They say if you don't have time to meditate, meditate twice as long. That really goes for this time of the year. Make it part of your daily routine. Get up in the darkness. I love getting up and meditating when it's dark, because when the light comes up, you're like, wow, I already got my meditation in. It will recharge you. Getting up a little bit extra early to meditate actually gives you energy rather than takes it away. That is, if you're meditating rather than dwelling on all the things that you have to get done. If you're dropping your thoughts, if you're focusing on your breath, if you're focusing on the energy, so many different techniques. But if you're not focusing on the day ahead, it will absolutely recharge you. And then exercise like there's no tomorrow. People go, I don't have time to exercise this time of year. It's more important than ever to keep your energy levels up and keep your hormones in balance when there's not much sunlight going on. You need the energy or the exercise if you're to have the energy for yourself, let alone for others. And ironically, or not so, it's designed by nature. This is the time of year where we pack on more calories than any other time. Look at the foods that you're eating. They are the highest caloric intake foods. There's a reason for that. Nature wants you to gain weight right now. Nature wants you to put on reserves, because who knows if we're going to run out. And nature wants you to stay well insulated. But since we're not outside 24/7 in nature anymore, that doesn't serve us very well. So we want to keep moving. Most importantly, though, movement equals healthy, happy brain chemistry. Getting to the gym this time of year, joining a group class and group activities. Even if you're an introvert, if you can get yourself to a group class, you may find it recharging. You may just want to be in the back. But getting to a daily exercise routine becomes a true anchor for your mind, your spirit, and your soul. On that note, put a routine into place, guard it with your life, whatever that routine looks like for you. I heard it recently. I think this was Ajit Nawalkar, who wrote a beautiful book, Live Big, particularly great for entrepreneurs. And he says, people say we all hate routine. It's not that we hate, well, most people say that they hate routine. It's not that we hate routine. It's we hate other people's routine. Build a routine this time of year that works for you. That helps you keep from getting spun. That helps keep you centered. And fight tooth and nail to get to bed at a regular time each night. I had to go about 2-3 weeks ago and set an alarm again for the evenings. I set 2 alarms. 7:40 alarm that says wrap things up, make sure your upload's done. And 8 p.m. alarm that says time to get to bed, Michael. Or I would be pulled in a dozen different directions this time of year. Interesting thing. The darker it is, the darker it gets earlier, the more we go to our electronics. The more we go to our electronics, the more we lose track of time and find ourselves up even later, even though this time of year, by nature, by design, is when we should be sleeping more. Sun goes down, we should be sleeping. Sun comes up, we should be waking up. So this is the time to recharge and rebuild for the new year ahead. Instead, we end up burning the midnight hour, staying up extra late, and kind of taking years away from our lives by burning the candle of our lives, or literally burning the candle of our DNA by staying up extra late this time of year. So set alarms, get yourself to bed earlier, and you will feel so much better. Remember what's most important. It's not what you buy. It's not the grand gesture you make. It's not who you visit, but it's taking care of yourself and, of course, your immediate loved ones, but with love, not about what you give you. Everything else can wait. Be present with yourself. Bring it full circle here. No matter what happens, go to the role of the observer, go to the breath, do what you can to be present, send yourself love, and then send others love as well. I call love the ultimate renewable resource. We've got to give it to ourselves first, but when we do that, we have an unlimited amount to give. So go to love as the last thing this time of year. That will help you stay centered and stay present. Notice, society has taught us that love is what you give, love is what you do. I completely disagree with this. Love is what you be in each moment. How are you in this moment towards yourself? How are you in this moment towards others around us? I've seen people get resentful that they're going to buy a gift for them. That's not love. It's good that you want to give a gift to somebody, but what can you do to be in a loving, heart-centered space in this moment? That helps you stay the most centered for the holidays. With that said, going to open it up to questions here. I think Jessica's been running the chat box. I'm going to open up my chat box here. I'm not sure if she's going to be handing me questions or if I'm going to be diving into them on my own.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great questions.
A lot of great questions. Oh, wow. We've got your voice on the mic. So, wow. Okay, go for it then. I'm excited.
Okay. First question is from Melissa 6.
Yes. Hi, Melissa 6.
She struggles with brain farts, and then she gets mad at herself for being dumb. Then that makes her mad for getting mad and feeling resentment to her mind or brain. Any ideas on how to break that habit?
So Melissa 6, brain farts can come from many different causes, but I'm going to address the Christmas cause. Can't believe I'm calling it the Christmas cause of brain farts, Melissa. Overwhelm. We get overwhelmed by everything that has to get done. Our RAM is full, and basically we can't accept any new information. So we bounce from thing to thing. We're not able to get things done. We can't remember to do this. We drop the potato over here. We burn the tortilla. Not that I did that this evening. Actually, I think Jessica did that too. Not picking on her, but we all get overwhelmed this time of the year. Love yourself up like there's no tomorrow, Melissa. Be as kind and gentle. You want to know how we end all wars in the world, Melissa? If we simply treat ourselves like the most precious, loving baby in the world. You treat yourself like the kindest baby. You know, a baby might poo or pee on you. It might literally, in changing the diaper, pee in your face. You might not enjoy it, but you still love the baby. But we've been taught if we screw up, if we mess up, if we do anything even slightly wrong, off with our heads. That's what causes us to get upset with ourselves, to get upset with our friends, to get upset with our loved ones. Forget about getting upset with somebody we don't know, like a stranger or our, quote, enemy. If we can instead be kind and gentle and loving to ourselves, two really key things happen. One, you're okay with the brain fart. And brain fart, Okay, I don't want to lose track. So I'm going to come back to brain fart. So one, you're okay with the brain fart. Second, because you're okay with the brain fart, you're less afraid of the brain fart. Your nervous system goes out of heightened alert, because when you're in overwhelm, you're in fight or flight mode, which means necessarily your brain has gone stupid on you. Your RAM has gone way down because it's waiting to take care of emergencies, and one brain fart is going to lead to the next brain fart. But if instead we're okay with ourselves just as we are, no matter how much we trip and fall and quote unquote, this is Michael language, not your language, screw up, if we love ourselves up no matter what, we're a lot less likely to make those farts the next time. The next piece is to watch our internal languaging, which was gifted to us by our parents, their parents, by our kids, by our loved ones, by our mentors, by our not so loved ones, and by teachers. So even the term brain fart, which sounds like a funny term, you get to watch. What happened? Well, I got overwhelmed. It didn't kind of work out. Rather than I screwed up or I had a brain fart. Not a very positive term. Instead, if you said, wow, I took on as much as I could in my head, which may not have been nearly as much as anybody else, or may have been, and I wasn't able to juggle everything successfully, but it is as it is, that inherently is kinder and gentler to yourself. So I want you, Melissa, to start hunting in your mind for any of the negatives that come up. I'm an old school kind of guy. I like index cards. You can do it on a smartphone as well, but I like an index card with a pen, carrying it around. And each time I catch myself chastising or berating or picking on myself, I might like a little dash, then another, and then cut across it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The more that you start catching yourself, this is a mindfulness exercise, Melissa. The more that you catch yourself saying how you've been negative, how you screwed up, how you've done this, how you've done that, the more awareness. I say awareness is over 50%. It may be 90% of success in anything. I would say of the battle, but I'm not a battle kind of guy. Kind, gentle, easy, good. But the more awareness you bring, the more inherently you will love yourself up. You will treat yourself differently and your mind. And that alone will cause the brain hiccups to be less and less. So brilliant question, Melissa 6. Thank you so much. And keep shining bright. Celine, I want to just thank you so much. I just see this giant green blob here that says that you made a donation. You said, thank you, Michael and Jessica, for your kindness, your compassion, all of your help. Celine, thank you so much for all of your kindness, for your compassion, and for all of your help as well. All right, do we have a next question here?
Yes, we do. Our next question is from Catherine Mendez, who asks, what do ankle pains mean? And she is referring to a spiritual perspective.
It's Kathleen or Catherine?
Catherine.
Catherine, that's a brilliant question. To me, I would have to Google that and look it up because I haven't looked it up recently. But I'm just feeling it out. It feels like a lack of stability, a lack of a solid foundation underneath you, like everything is feeling wobbly. And gets to be firmed up. So that would be my best guess. I'd Google it. I'd see what you come up with. The great thing about aches and pains is we can go quiet and we can actually focus on the spot, focus on the ankle and ask self, why are my ankles bothering me? Why is it tweaks and pains right here? What do I have to learn from it? And while we always want to push pains away, the coolest thing is the more that we focus on it, it's actually like going into a trigger point therapy or massage where somebody just digs in. You're like, ugh. It oftentimes melts away as we do that. And there's a great, great lesson inside of you. I know if I am moving too fast, that's when my ankles feel wobbly beneath me. And I know that my ankles, to me, represent a speedometer or your RPM gauge, your engine gauge, your engine speed. I don't know a better way to put it. Tachometer. There's the word I'm looking for. Your tachometer. And if the ankles are getting wobbly, it means I'm pushing myself too hard. I'm trying to go too many places at once, or I'm going way too fast down the trail. And if I'm not careful, I'm going to trip. And so I don't want to exceed the speed of my ankles. And so it may mean backing off, starting in more slowly, and of course, lots and lots of TLC and self-care. If I've got a sore ankle, number one thing I'm going to do, well, here in Colorado, is I'm going to put some CBD oil on it. But before I do that, I'm going to take an Epsom salt bath and relax and soak in it and soak in that magnesium, which is going to help reduce inflammation, is going to help relax the muscles. I'm going to take a turmeric drink, which is going to help decrease inflammation. I'm probably going to take some glutathione. This is not me as Michael, a medical expert. This is what I would do for myself, which is also going to knock down inflammation. And then we're going to say, how can I slow things down? What can I do to reduce my speed and get myself feeling more secure and less wobbly on my ankles? Brilliant, brilliant question, Catherine. Slow down. I'd love yourself up, and I'd let your ankles quite literally be your guide. So I want to take the next question before I do that. Meredith Lorden, thank you for your kind donation. So Meredith, thank you for your insights as well. Thank you for bringing your light to the world, and keep on shining bright. So next question.
Next question is from Celine, who asks, my question is how to move past or work through creative blocks. I feel so blocked creatively that I can't send out newsletters, make videos, or write.
So Celine, a few thoughts on this, particularly this time of year. First off, the biggest reason that we're unable to step forward is often perfectionism run amok. Something that we've all been taught since our earliest days. You got to get it right the first time, which is absolute insanity, because we need time to practice, to play, to try things, to experiment. Or as I was talking about in a CJ show that comes out on audio this Friday, I don't know why Jessica's chuckling next to me, but I love it. We have to be willing to trip and fail. So one piece is being willing to drop a piece of that perfectionism and step forward no matter what. Be willing to experiment. Second piece could be being out of alignment. Oftentimes the head wants to do something that the heart is in complete disagreement. And we go, well, if I would just send that email, I'll make a ton of money. If I would just step forward with this business idea, I would be doing great. If I would just, but the heart puts the kibosh. It goes, It says no. There's a word I don't use often. I don't think I've ever used that with Jessica, kibosh. But the heart says no, and it stops us in our tracks. So it's important to step back and to listen and understand why you might not be step forward. Of course, there can be fear, which comes back to perfectionism. Best thing we can do there, start to work the muscle slowly. But the biggest reason, since we're talking about getting centered right now, the biggest reason we have trouble stepping forward this time of year is we're completely overwhelmed. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm completely overwhelmed, if I'm exhausted, I think Jessica just wrote the word jet lagged. If I'm feeling jet lagged, then I want to hibernate or hide in a cave until I feel better, until I have energy, so that when I step out of the cage and the saber-toothed tiger comes chasing after me, I'm going to be able to get away. If we're overwhelmed, it's incredibly difficult to step forward. Everything's scary. Everything seems like a danger to us, and we don't have the bandwidth to handle things. So what's the best thing we can do? Not step forward yet. Breathe deep. Understand what's going on. Peel away some layers of the overwhelm. And then, if it feels right, and ask yourself, step forward. A last thought on this. Do things like emotion code work and EFT work and things like automatic writing. Really throw the kitchen sink at it to both get yourself lighter as far as layers of energetic blocks. Because when I work with coaching clients, I do a lot of these different techniques. Because if somebody keeps on shooting themselves in the foot and we're reducing overwhelm, we're reducing all these pieces, then, first I put a routine in place because I want to see if I can just make it ridiculously easy, micro habit after micro habit to get things done. But then I know that I need to peel away layers of emotional wounding from the past, from when we stepped forward and it hasn't worked out, or things have blown up, or we've been chastised or berated. So I need to look at that. And then I want them to dive in on the inside. to really understand what's going on. So when I work with coaching clients, I'm always telling coaching clients, particularly when I meet with them the first time, I said, I'm going to give you lots of homework. So I'm going to give you lots of homework. Some's going to be real easy. Some's going to be more challenging. Some's going to be more so difficult you won't even get started, or you might get stuck. And then what I tell all of my coaching clients is, that's where the good stuff is. Where you're getting stuck is the best place to learn about yourself and to truly help you move forward. Don't pick on yourself. Don't berate yourself. Don't chastise yourself. As I've been saying with everybody else, love yourself up like there's no tomorrow. And in a sense, celebrate the stuck Ednex. It's going to teach you something great. Jessica has had several opportunities where universe has gotten her stuck health-wise. And in the moment, it's been really, really tough for her, and it's extremely frustrating. Stepping back later on, I'm convinced they were the greatest gift, and I believe she would agree, they were the greatest gift for her growth, for her personal development. That stuckedness is actually there to serve you. We often, if not always in our society, confuse something going wrong, in quotes, versus the gift. Being stuck is an opportunity for massive growth just by being on that plateau or being in that trough. It's not something negative at all. It's there to serve you. It's like I love to say, universe is not working against you. Universe is not doing anything to you. It is doing everything for you and through you, especially in the stuckedness of things. So a brilliant, brilliant question. I would say be with the stuckedness, learn from the stuckedness, and then build ways to put tiny baby steps in place if it feels right to step forward. Brilliant, brilliant question. Let's see. We've got time for a few more questions. Who would we have next?
Celine, by the way, says that she can't wait to get to work.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Excited, Celine, and keep us updated. Understand, while I said come on over to patreon.com, become a Backstage Pass member, become a member of the Inspire Nation family, by participating in this, by watching this, you are our Inspire Nation family. So chat with us. Let us know your thoughts. Post your comments. Celine, I want to hear what comes up for you. I personally want to hear how you're doing. You guys are family. All right. Who do we have next?
Okay. Our next question is from Meredith Lorden, who writes, I know I need a change of career path, but it's not clear. I tried journaling, meditation, and affirmations. Any suggestions? Thank you.
Brilliant question, Meredith. So first thought is, how can we step back more and get even more time with ourselves? That is one piece of it. Two, I would look at doing some of the emotional block work, whether that's EFT work, which is a tapping, whether that's emotion code, whether it's getting with some sort of practitioner to help peel away layers of the onion of blocks that we have. I would keep working on automatic writing and making sure that it is not your conscious mind that is writing, but is truly your inner wisdom, your inner voice, or your unconscious mind. And then I would take inventory, Celine, not Celine, name again?
Meredith.
Thank you. I would take inventory, Meredith, of what I like to do, what I'm good at, and what I used to love to do. Often, not always, often in these situations, we know what we'd like to step forward with, but we have squashed ourselves or not allowed us to even entertain the possibility. So we have this government in our minds, and this is a term that I got from Don Miguel Ruiz. I absolutely love it. We have this government in our minds that is basically a Congress, a president, and a judicial system. It'll hang us high. That is rules and laws that we adopted from our parents, from our loved ones, from our teachers, from our mentors, from our tour mentors too. Isn't it similar? Interesting. It's a similar word. But in essence, we have adopted these rule sets that say you can do this, you can't do that. You can't do this because it's not going to make enough money. You can't do this because it's not socially acceptable, whatever. And we adopted those as our own. And so we don't even allow ourselves to lift back the rocks and look underneath to see what I would really like to do. So I want to give you a 10-day challenge. And this is something that Mitch Horowitz talked about in a very recent show. In fact, in a day or two, I'm going to give this challenge to Jessica and myself because I told Mitch we would start it after Jessica recuperates from her trip. I want to give you a 10-day challenge of each day getting up each morning and writing a minimum of 10, if not 20 things a day that you could possibly do with your life. And in the beginning, you're going to write ideas that seem really logical. And then you're going to run out of those. And then you're going to come up with some creative ideas. Then you're going to run out of those. And then you're going to have to come up with some really out of the box crazy ideas. I call this exhausting the paradigm. Once you've exhausted the current paradigm of who you are, you will start to come up with some crazy, ridiculous ideas. And it will help the light go on. So take 10 days, throw the kitchen sink at it, go to automatic writing, go to meditation, go to walking in the woods, short distances if it's cold out there, and write out each morning 10 things, I would even say 20 things if you can, each morning that you could possibly do with your life. And you will start to get some ideas. Now, there's a funny bumper sticker out there. We've all seen it, which says, "Not all who wander are lost." What does this mean? Meredith, be okay with the wandering right now. We also, not we all, but one of the common challenges, ruts in self-help is we say, I need to find myself. I need to find my way. I need to find my path. The real truth of the matter is there is no place to find. There is no path to find. There is here in this moment. And then there is here in this moment. And then there is, please forgive me, here in this moment. If you be with the moment, with each and every moment, you will start to discover a richness about yourself that you never allowed yourself in the past, and you will start to play and explore. So this is our first real winter in nearly a decade for Jessica and myself. Yes, we had a couple years in New Jersey, but we were kind of in Metropolis. It wasn't really a winter playground. And we did have a winter in North Carolina, which really surprised us. And they're having another one right now, which is shocking as well, with a couple feet of snow there. But this is our first time where we really get to explore this winter and say, what do I want to do in the winter? And I've said, well, is it cross-country skiing? Is it snowshoeing? Is it this uphill ski racy thingy? I have no idea. The only way I'll learn about this is by trying things out and exploring without attachment, without judgment. So get lost a little bit. Go in one direction, see how that feels. Go in another direction, see how that feels. Use the internal GPS of your heart, not of your eyes, not even of your ears, to feel your way forward and allow yourself, just like I was saying before, allow yourself to be or bask in the stuckedness without judgment, without attachment. And you'll really start to discover over time, and give yourself the time, who you are and where you want to go next without the judgment and the rule set of others, but truly from your heart. So take these 10 days, dive in deep, see what you come up with, and realize the meandering can go on well beyond this, but dive in for 10 days and let us know if you hear anything or what your heart is starting to tell you. Thank you so, so much, Meredith. Looks like we have time for probably 2 more questions. Try to wrap this thing up at 20 minutes past. Oh, we got another donation from
Raw Intuition.
From Raw Intuition. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Raw Intuition. Woohoo! How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? Thank you, Raw Intuition. Your insights are so appreciated. Thank you, Michael and Jessica. Raw Intuition, and clearly you're living from heart. Your insights are so appreciated, and keep helping the world, Raw Intuition, to shine bright as well. All right, time for probably 2 more questions.
Well, Meredith Lorden asked if you could say a bit more about automatic writing.
Sure, I would love to. So here, let's do the really, really fast version. We learned what automatic writing was many years ago while we were living on Maui, but we didn't actually use it in the beginning because we didn't believe it. We didn't know what to do with it. And we were too busy in the day-to-day grind, driving ourselves as fast as we could to the edge of a cliff and over. We were in the doing mode, go, 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 where we couldn't hear our intuition. We couldn't hear our hearts and had no idea. Even though we thought we were doing everything we could, we had no idea how to step back and really understand on the inside what was going on. We crashed and burned. That's okay. That was part of the process. Not fun. Jessica got really sick. Really not fun. Out of that, though, we had to start what we knew how to do but weren't practicing, which was getting up in the morning, meditating, saying a series of prayers, putting ourselves kind of in a theta brainwave state, and then putting pen to paper or fingers to the keyboard and letting the words come to us. It's a third person process. So journaling is, I don't feel good. What am I going to do? What do I do about this? I. That's journaling. Automatic writing is, it's going to be okay, Michael. Everything's all right. If you step back, what you need to do right now is focus on the being, focus on healing, focus on starting Inspire Nation. It's more of third person words of wisdom by letting the pen flow across the page. My eyes are closed for a reason. Letting the pen flow across the page without the thinking mind being involved. It's a process. It takes a little while to develop. Everybody can do it. In the beginning, you kind of get like a handshake. You get just a few words of wisdom. And we can call this inner wisdom. We can call this inner guides. You can call it guides. You can call it spirit. You can call it God. It's what many of the greatest authors have written from. It's how Napoleon Hill wrote. It's how Neil Donald Walsh wrote Conversations with God. We can all tap into this inner wisdom and be able to get back out of the bubble of ourselves to really understand what's going on in our lives and what's important. So almost every decision, large and small, Jessica and I bring to automatic writing. Almost everything that happens in our lives, we bring to automatic writing. And if there's one singular thing we can do to keep our lives on the rails, above and beyond meditation, because we have to meditate a little bit to get into automatic writing, though then you can hear the voice clearer and clearer throughout the day. In fact, I listen to it now. It's not a booming voice, but I listen to it as I'm speaking to you, as I'm coaching, as I'm doing my shows. But to cultivate that, the most important thing that we can do in our lives is automatic writing almost each and every day. There's a time and a place for everything. If you're picking up your wife late at the airport or something and this, that, and the other is going on, maybe you don't get as much of it in. But that has been, I believe, I can only speak for myself, the single most important tool in my life. And this show quite literally wouldn't exist without it. Okay, time for one more really, really, really short question. You've got your hand up. I've got a thought on automatic writing, which is we'll be re-releasing our automatic writing program in January for people at inspirenationuniversity.com. We'll have classes on that, and it is by far, it's our greatest gift to you in that there's no more important tool, and quite literally, there is no more important tool. What were you going to say, Jessica? Or what
we have two very short questions.
Two very short questions. All right, let's go for it.
Okay, first question is, for the 10-day challenge, do we have to write 10 different things each day?
Absolutely. So, and I'm going to up that. I'm going to say, I really want you to exhaust your paradigm. I'd like you to write 20 new things you could do a day. You go, Michael, I can't do 20 things. Make it a variation. I could work in a bank. I could be a teller. I could be a host. I could be a this. I could be a that. And exhaust that for a day. Then I could be working in the leisure industry. I could be working at a ski resort. I could be working at a see the dolphins place. I want you to come up with so many ideas that you literally get to the ridiculous. Now, okay, I'm asking for 20 a day. If that seems like burnout, go to 10 a day, but be consistent about it each and every day. And they have to be new and different ideas. The ridiculous is actually the recommended, because it's in the ridiculous that we're in the creative or inspired, in spirit zone. And that's where the greatest ideas come to us, when we're outside of the thinking mind. All right, last question.
Okay. Melissa V, not Melissa 6 or Melissa 5.
Okay.
Melissa V.
Melissa V. Okay. V is in victory. I like it. Or Victoria, or yes.
She wanted to know how we met CJ.
Oh, great question. And, off the top of my head, I know we were going to interview her for the Mindful Running program. But do you know how we met before that? Was it through a mutual friend like Beth?
Actually, a publicist, or our former publicist.
Who is a true angel. I think I can mention her name here, right?
Yeah, Beth Grossman.
Beth Grossman. And if you need a publicist, she is an angel.
She's based in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
She was pitching guests to CJ, and CJ had mentioned that I think her feet were hurting, and she was looking for a guest who could help with her feet. And at the time, we were still promoting barefoot running and barefoot walking and mindful running. Our publicist, or former publicist, Beth, made the connection.
Perfect. There you go. And it's really cool. We have been, CJ and I, once a week.
So CJ interviewed you for her show, Fired Up with CJ, and you guys talked about barefoot running. And
then I believe did I interview her for Mindful Running as one of those, or no?
No.
Okay.
I think you shot an email out to her asking her about what it takes to start up a radio show, even though she didn't have a podcast.
And what's really cool to me about it is CJ gave us all these great ideas, and the show probably wouldn't have existed as it exists now without CJ. But a lot of the ideas that she gave were incremental. So we had a mindful running program, make a mindful running podcast, make a running podcast, make a health podcast, make this podcast. They were brilliant ideas, but what they actually caused me to do is go back and go into my automatic writing and say, heart, what do I really want to do? And so it was because she challenged us on this, really getting us out of our paradigm, that I was able to step back and go into automatic writing and say, what do I really want? And at the end of the day, I wanted each show that CJ talked with me about was, okay, so I'll start with mindful running, and then I'll talk about mindfulness, and then boom, 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 many steps of the way, I'll get to this self-help inspirational show that I want. Or I'll talk about health and healing, and then many steps down the way, I'll get to the self-help inspirational show I want. Or and many steps down the way, I'll get to the, why don't I just go for what I'm really feeling in the inside now? If I'm in alignment and I'm passionate about it, I will find a way to skip those rungs of the ladder and make it work. Last thought, then I get to boogie to my next coaching client. There's a big difference between passion and excitement. It is something that Ajit Nawalka talks about in his book, Live Big. He's the co-founder and former CEO of Mind Valley. Excitement is the flash in the pan. Ooh, I want to do this. It's the next greatest idea. And then that kind of wanes. Ooh, I want to do this. It's the next great idea that I get. And then that sort of wanes. Discovering your passion is the thing that will keep you going even in the middle of the night when you're going, oh my God, this feels like the worst idea in the world. Why am I still awake? But your heart is pulling you there, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. That's where you want to go as a next step in life. That's what you want to exhaust all options, look under every rock for, is what am I so passionate about that I'm being pulled and dragged in that direction. And if you don't have that yet, take your time. Don't rush. Life is much, in many ways, longer than we ever realize. We all overestimate what we can do in a day and radically underestimate what we can do in a year, let alone in a lifetime. So take your time and allow, as long as you're working on yourself, you're peeling away the layers of the onion, you're starting to lighten yourself up, you're starting to get into a more joyous, happy place. Allow that idea to chase you down. So I want to wish you the most beautiful week ahead. Do everything you can to stay centered, to stay grounded, to dive in on the inside. I see Jessica's writing something about coaching here. I've got to get to a coaching session, but yes, we still have, we are still offering free one-on-one opportunity strategy sessions for you to speak with me, but we are booked till, I believe, mid-January right now. Yes, quite possibly late January. And we had another new coaching client sign up tonight, so it may even be going beyond that. So if you're thinking about coaching for the new year, now is the time to meet with me. If financial resources are a challenge, this will also give you time to get things in order before we get started. And I can really help you with that piece as well. But I am very blessed and lucky, and I'm honored to be doing the work of coaching, and I'm also really, really good at it. So it is getting backed up more and more and more. So I love you guys. I want to thank you so much for joining us here this evening. And I want to wish you the most beautiful, beautiful, heart-centered, stay grounded, stay centered. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Breathe deep. Be present day and week ahead. And above and beyond all else, shine bright. Woohoo! We love you guys. Be well.